What is he doing?
I don't know. Only the 900th time I've done that. So, and now we're doing some technical difficulties.
I don't even know if it's technical difficulties. It's a personal difficulty.
Yeah, that is the struggle is real. Anyways, good morning and welcome to the Underhood Show. My name is Josh Profit. I'm the service director here at Mel Hambleton Ford. Got Scotty Gurman alongside me this morning. Good morning, Scotty.
Good morning.
Scotty is one of the service consultants down at our Quick Lane facility. So, hey, this is a call-in show, 316-462-3673. Talk about anything automotive, whatever's ailing your vehicle. Want to talk about, maintenance intervals, tires, brakes, batteries, check engine light, got something going on, want to get a little more insight on it, call in 316-462-3673. Jump on the air here with us, and let's see what you got going on. For each and every caller that calls into the show, we mail out a prize package, which consists of the works, which is an oil change and tire rotation. We use Motorcraft oil and filter products here at Mel Hambleton Ford. While we're performing that, we're also going to complete a multi-point inspection on that vehicle, checking over the brakes, tires, steering, suspension, all the safety-related components on that vehicle, just making sure that it's ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. You'll get yourself $10 to Mel's Diner, so you can get yourself something to eat and drink while you're here with us at the Big Corner. Complete nitrogen, so you get all the great benefits that nitrogen has to offer, as well as a BG products package, which consists of a can of MOA or motor oil additive for your engine oil, and then 44K for your fuel system. Again, just getting that vehicle geared up and ready to go for that next 5,000 miles of driving. So, hey, let's get the phones ringing, 316-462-3673, and talk about what's ailing your vehicle or what automotive questions you have, because otherwise we're just in here running amok.
That's
right?
true. Yeah,
That's
pretty much what we do.
And so it's been a busy week this week around here. It's this time of year with the heat, and now I cannot believe it. July is in the books. We're into August today, which is crazy. Last week the heat's been pretty warm for sure.
It's been hot,
and so that takes its own tolls on mechanical systems and just vehicles in general.
Oh yeah.
And then along with that, you add the busyness of summer vacations, and people tend to obviously travel a lot more this time of year.
People getting ready to go back to school.
And then, in addition to that, is the back to school side of things,
Yeah.
like you're saying. And so getting ready to send, son or daughter off to college, and
That's been like 90% of what I've had.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, hey, we got so-and-so's going back to school. Please check this over. Make sure everything's in good shape, because obviously we don't want anything to happen whenever we're not able to help. We're not there.
Yeah.
So it's my job to make sure that vehicle's checked over pretty good.
I understand. So I've got a question. I'll put it out there for our viewers, but then kind of you'll be thinking about it too in relationship to just dealing with customers on a day-to-day basis.
Sure.
And where the question is this: so fuel prices obviously becoming higher and higher and higher. Do you see on a daily basis, or if you're a listener, is fuel economy on your mind? And what I mean by that, so years ago, I can think back, being in this industry for as long as I have, many years ago. I mean, this was around probably the 2000s or so, when fuel was up around $4 or $5 a gallon for a gallon of unleaded fuel for a little bit, maybe closer to the $4 a gallon. But really at that point in time, you've seen a real spike on consumers and being focused on fuel economy and maintenance related items to do with fuel economy, and things like that. But the fuel efficiency of the vehicles at that point in time was nowhere near what it is today.
Correct.
And so the question is, okay, now that the fuel efficiency of these vehicles has gotten so much more. I mean, we're getting out of a, you know, F-150 pickup, we're getting what we
18.
would have, what we would have got out of a conventional sedan,
Yeah.
you know, years ago, or
Yeah.
even years before that. And so as a consumer, do you think about fuel economy and related items? So in what you deal with day in and day out and helping people as they come in, like, is that a topic of, hey, what can I do to increase my fuel economy, or you know, things like that, I guess, is the question.
I would more or less say it's probably like a 60% of the customer base, I think, does. They're very, very fuel economy or fuel efficiency conscious, and so they want to do everything that's fuel efficient with their vehicle out of their mouth. Now, out of my mouth is a completely different thing,
Sure.
right? So it just kind of depends on the situation, but yeah, I would say that, especially with fuel prices being what they're at, it's definitely something that you want to talk about, like things that you can do that don't cost anything that helps you with your fuel efficiency.
Well, and I don't think the average consumer, so for one, I don't think the average consumer spends a whole lot of time thinking about that, you know,
Sure.
as far as the day-to-day things,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
there are a lot of things that you can do to help get better fuel economy. And it's, you know, some simple as stuff as just literally making sure that your tire
I was
pressures
getting ready to say that's the one.
are making sure that your tire pressures are where they need to be, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
because
yeah.
if it's low, you're going to have more drag, you're going to have more wear on the tire, stuff like that. But even, I mean, it starts at just how you drive.
Mhm.
What's crazy to me is, and this has been even years back now, but even, you know, a lot of the newer vehicles that are coming out are very, very similar to this, but they had a Fusion when they very first came out with the hybrid. So it was a gas engine, but it had an electric battery in it, and you you with the when it was running on the electric mode, and you could get 30, 40, 50 miles before it would ever even kick in the gas engine on this thing. But as you drove this deal, there was a tree based on how you drove it. There was a tree that would grow in the cluster.
And the
And
more leaves that it
the
got.
more leaves that it have, the more efficient you were. And it's freaking like a video game.
Yeah.
And you put me in that car, and I drove it so much different than I did any other vehicle, and I don't know why. Like, you know, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense. But I guess the point to that is just how you drive, how you
Yes.
approach a stop, and how you accelerate from a stop makes a huge difference. But then tire pressure, you know, after that.
Mhm.
And I'm even thinking, okay, just basic. I don't think the consumers maybe understand or realize that just servicing that thing on a routine basis,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
you know, and servicing on a 5,000 mile interval instead of a 10,000 mile interval, like, it's going to make a difference long term. You know, we talk about on this show a lot about, you know, BG and products that they have to offer. And the GDI comes to mind right off the top of my head as far as something that for fuel efficiency. We have all these low tension rings on the vehicles now, and which is great for wear and tear on an engine and longevity of it. But it's so much easier for sludge to build up on the backside of these rings and stick the rings, and you lose compression. Well, if you're losing compression and you're not getting the most efficient burn out of, you know, what's happening in that engine compartment, there goes your fuel economy, right?
Sure.
And always say from a consumer standpoint, I view this to be very similar when it comes to loss of compression or loss of power in an engine. When it's your vehicle and you drive it on a daily basis, like, and that happens very, very slow over a long period of time, you really don't even notice that, you know, your power is getting robbed from you or stole from you.
Oh, yeah.
Very similar to a brake pulsation or a brake vibration.
Yep.
You know, I can go get in a car and go drive it, and I can pick up on, you know, this and that and the other. And as a consumer, you may not even know you have the problem,
Mhm.
right? Until somebody either points it out to you or it just gets so drastic that,
Yeah, it's an Overton window problem.
mhm.
Like, right? Like, it's like something happens and you just move it just a smidge, just every so often, and then all of a sudden you just don't even notice it because it just occurs so slowly. And then you get somebody who's never experienced that get in the vehicle and drive it, pushes the brakes, and all of a sudden it's just shaking the heck out of you. It's that, and that's our job. That's what we're there for. But yeah.
Yeah, agree with that. And so, I again, I think as these vehicles become more fuel efficient, as consumers pull up to the pumps, and
Oh yeah.
it kind of needs what it needs in fuel, and here we go and put it in and
Yeah.
go on down the road, for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, and these vehicles nowadays are so smart. They're ridiculous when it comes to all of the systems that I mean, we've been in this industry for what, 20 plus years. I think I'm coming up on 20. I think you've been, I mean,
Well, we're not
you're
going to
getting
talk
you're
about
getting
it.
to Phil's age now. So, but I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff, but these vehicles are so smart. They're getting so good at being able to do so many things. I mean, I get T-boned and I'm not hurt. I'm walking away from it, kind of thing.
Well,
like, but like fuel efficiency and things like that, there are so many things that you can do for your vehicle that don't cost anything. You're right. How you drive. And it's kind of funny that Josh is sitting over here being like, yeah, there's that one car that has a tree and he's driven it, and if he drives any other vehicle, there is like pedal to the metal to go and slam on your brakes to stop. That's how Josh normally drives. But other than that, no, it's there's a lot of cool things that you can do to make your vehicle the most fuel efficient as possible, and some of them don't even cost anything. So I agree.
yeah, the we talk about fuel efficiency and items like that. So what's we talked about obviously tire pressure, the BG, the
44K.
yeah, 44K
Yep.
portion of it.
Yeah, it like how you accelerate from a stop is one thing. I mean, I will never be able to do it, but my I am accelerate.
So now from a from a consumer standpoint, let's say, hey, there's we've kind of talked about the lower hanging fruit, but what maintenance wise, what's something that you see that, okay, hey, do this, or this would be recommended?
Everything. I mean, transmission service, something like that. Like, make the vehicle be able to function easier.
Mhm.
That is fuel economy. That's
Yeah.
that's fuel efficiency. Air filter, engine air filter. Let the vehicle breathe easier.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we do a fuel induction service, sure. Changing the oil, sure. Pretty much anything and everything to make that vehicle as easy to function as much as to function as easy as possible. That is fuel efficiency. The fuel is what drives everything else.
Gets it going down the road,
yes.
right? And spark plugs,
Yes.
I think, are another thing that a consumer is aware of.
Yeah.
But years ago, it was something way more routine than it is now.
Yeah.
And to see what some of the intervals are and how long they'll last and go. A lot of times, honestly, consumers don't really even do anything with them until one breaks or there's an issue with one, and it makes a difference.
Well, and the other thing is that I think that if you ask somebody, 90% of the people would be like, "Oh yeah, they're due at 100,000 miles." Well, now we have these engines that are turbocharged, and so that prematurely wears those spark plugs faster, and so now the interval is actually, if I remember correctly, it's 60,000 miles, if I remember correctly. Or it may be 50.
Yeah.
But we see them start to fail at 50 to 60,000 miles. So typically, whenever somebody comes in to have the spark plugs changed, they already have a problem.
Well, and a lot of that depends as far as point of failure.
Mm-hmm.
So much is on driving habits,
right,
and characteristics. And again, let's go back to the multi-point inspection. Why that's so important is because, I personally, in my own household, the way I drive my vehicle and the way my wife drives her vehicle, we need two separate maintenance intervals. I will tell you that is not a blanketed service interval that is going to work the same. It's just not, for sure. And so, they always say that if you're going to buy a vehicle, buy it from the mechanic's wife, not the mechanic. I think
That
is
is
how
total-
the
oh, that's
statement
so
is or
true.
said or goes or whatever from there. But
But like even like brake pads. That's another one that is fuel efficiency, right? You got and then we see it all the time now, especially if you let brake pads go too long. You'll have like a caliper slide pin or something like that, just kind of get a little bit more resistance than what it should.
hang up.
Yep, hang up a little bit, and now you're really not getting very much. I mean, there's so many things that help with the vehicle's fuel efficiency.
We've talked about this on the show before, but I specifically remember a couple of different instances on tires and replacement tires. You know, when
oh yeah,
when it was the first kind of EV or electric portion of it was a Toyota Prius. That's what it was. First Prius come out, and customer had one of those, and they drove it. Obviously, it had very, very soft tires on it. Got time to replace the tires on it, and they were very, very fuel conscientious about it, and so they knew, miles per gallon, what they were getting, what to expect, and we put a set of tires on it, and they wanted Michelin's because they thought it would go, much longer, and it would be a better tire and stuff like that, and it made a huge impact on their fuel economy.
Really?
Because the weight of the tire was so much more. There was so much more drag on the road because of the point of contact on that tire versus what was on it. And I mean, it was, within the tenth of a digit on fuel economy. Like it was a pretty astronomical change for sure. So
that's crazy.
But yes, something as simple as selecting a tire when you go to replace it is going to make a difference on your fuel economy for sure. So
for sure.
And again, that's not putting if you don't put the right load and speed rating, and depends on what you're after, being able to select the right tire is huge. So hey, we got a phone call coming through, so we'll get them patched in. But 316-462-3673, that's the number to jump on the air here with us and talk about anything automotive. So if you have something going on or want questions answered or want to talk about maintenance intervals or fuel economy, 316-462-3673. And let's go to the phones and talk to Michael. Michael, you're on live with Under the Hood. Good morning.
Yeah, I got a question. I got a 2024 Ford Escape. I bought it rusty Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just calling about the oil changes because they only do them every 10,000 miles.
Yeah, that's every 5,000 miles is what that thing needs to be changed. So there's a couple of different in the owner's manual itself. There's a couple of different maintenance standards, is what they would call them. There's a severe standard all the way up to just a regular standard. Severe duty maintenance is operating, the definition of that is operating in, dusty
conditions.
Dusty conditions. And I'm not sure how much you've been in Kansas, but the wind blows around here all the time. Like there's dust just about everywhere in that sense. And so I've torn many engines down. We've seen a lot of stuff come through the shop back here. You can never over maintain a vehicle when it comes to something like that.
Well, like on these new cars, you got the 100%, and when it gets to 0%, it's like 9,000 miles.
So depending upon, there's a lot of things that go into that algorithm, driving cycles, operating temperatures, things like that. And you can, maintenance interval light will go anywhere from probably around a 7,000 mile interval all the way up. I've seen them as high as around 12,000 miles. And again, Michael, it really varies in how you're operating that vehicle. If you're, let's say you travel, and you get up and you start in Wichita and you drive to, Dodge City, and that's your mileage interval. Because you start that truck, you get it up, or vehicle, you get it up to operating temperature. You're able to boil all the condensation that's produced in that engine as it gets to operating temperature. It's had time to burn all that condensation off, and then you shut it back down. Like, that person is going to service that vehicle differently than somebody that starts their vehicle up and drives it 3 blocks to work and shuts it off, and then starts it 3 blocks and drives it back home later on that evening. Like, the amount, because you never even get that vehicle up to operating temperature to get the condensation out of it and stuff like that. And so,
not only that, Phil says something all the time that it just repeats over and over in my head. All they care about is getting you past the warranty or the warranty time, which is 60,000 miles. So you're changing the oil 6 times between that. I don't understand. I mean, the oil change intervals and then that timer, that's all that is. That percentage and notification on your vehicle is legitimately a timer. And that is all that is. It's,
Okay.
I mean, especially with us in Kansas, we have extreme heat and extreme cold. And we are probably in one of the craziest climates in the United States. And so to change your oil every 10,000 miles, at least to me, if you're going to keep that vehicle for a long period of time, is just crazy.
So we should change it every 5,000
Every
miles,
5.
no matter what.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm asking.
Yep.
So, and then how do you, if I serviced it myself and then take it to Rusty at Ford, will that light change, or you just
so
keep the mileage and just change it every 5,000 miles?
So the light is like we were talking about. It is an algorithm, and when we service a vehicle, we go into the computer and we reset that parameter and let the computer know, hey, it's been reset, or excuse me, that it's been changed. And so then it restarts that algorithm over. It is something that like, there's no special tools or equipment or anything required to reset that. It is in the driver's menu through your center screen display that can be reset. And so if you are servicing your own vehicle, absolutely nothing wrong with that, but I would encourage you to reset that interval for sure when you do it.
Well, no, I got free oil changes, but like I said, they only do it every night, whatever. When the light changes, they do.
Yeah, gotcha. So they're servicing it solely off of the light.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm asking that. Yeah, they're servicing it solely off of the light, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Gotcha.
Basically,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, if you changed it in between intervals, in between intervals of them changing it would be probably the best thing to do, and then just not reset the light.
The other question that I would have had for you is do you have any kind of extended warranty on the vehicle at all?
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely no problem with changing your own oil. Just be very, very careful and conscious that if you have an extended warranty and you're changing your own oil, and if you have something in the future that ends up happening, you have to be able to provide proof that that oil was changed, and a receipt for an oil and filter is not going to do it. I'm just being honest with you.
And like I said, I might just start coming over there. I live a long ways from there, but
sure,
we go to Wichita quite a bit, so I could I'm just asking. I wanted to ask you guys, because I think you're right. We need to start changing it every 5,000 miles. So.
Yeah. And here's the, the ultimate goal is, like, what's the intent with the vehicle? How long are you going to have it? And, if the answer to that is I plan on having it for, obviously longer than 60,000 miles or quite a while. And don't get me wrong, in any way, shape or form, like, I don't want you to I don't want anybody to mistake care of their vehicle and trade that off to the next consumer. But
yes,
the odds of probability, right? If you're keeping something for 30,000 miles, you probably change oil on it once or twice, and then it's the next person's problem.
Yes.
But that's not the right way to do it either.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it like that.
And if your intent is to keep the thing for, 100,000 miles, how you take care of it in the early stages of ownership is going to determine how it's going to treat you towards the end of your guys' relationship. Right. And so, the more you invest in it now, the better off it'll be, in the long run.
That's
for sure.
why I was, okay. Yep. That's what I needed to know.
So, nope. Great questions. And these maintenance interval lights, I have went round and round with people. I've in fact on an advisory board now, and it's something that's a pretty hot topic again, even at this point. And they've been around for years. I mean, they very first started, I can think all the way back in 2000s,
early 2000s,
is kind of when they came about. And everybody's push, or manufacturers wise, everybody's push at that point was, well, we need cost of ownership down so that when somebody's look at purchasing a vehicle, we can say, hey, it's cheap to maintain, or cost of ownership's not that much. And I have never seen anybody purchase a vehicle based on cost of ownership stats, for one. But then two, the other thing that bugs me about these maintenance intervals or maintenance lights is it's an algorithm. So it's based on time and mileage essentially. But nobody's driving conditions or situations are the same. And so you just can't put a blanket out there on that and say, hey, this is what you need to do and when you need to do it.
So I got examples.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
But hey, great question. I appreciate the conversation. And if there's any way we can help you and get that thing serviced for you, by all means, please let us know. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Michael.
Have a great day. Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah.
Hey, 316-462-3673. That's the number to jump on the air here and visit with us. If you want to talk about maintenance intervals or fuel economy or whatever you got automotive related, give us a call, 316-462-3673. So
I've got an example to go along with that. I know we wanted to, kind of move on, but I have a very good example of something what we were just talking about.
Okay.
The city of Wichita police cars.
Yep.
They change their oil every 5,000 miles, but there's a certain thing that these vehicles are driven for and do that may not even be enough. So what they do is they typically sit someplace and idle for hours.
Yep.
And I've had quite a few of them to where we ended up putting engines in a couple of them. I'm like, what in the heck is going on? Well, it's because they don't change their oil to
frequent enough.
Yeah, frequent enough to what they use them for. And so, they may change them every 5,000 miles, but the amount of idling is like changing them every 15. Like that's another thing that you got to take into consideration too.
Ran into that exact same situation or scenario with the Haven Police Department.
Yep.
They've got three or four different pickups that we service, and we're first started performing the services, and we're going by oil change records, and I'm like, hold on guys, hold on, time out, and think about idle time and what's going on there, and it was almost 3 to 1 that it should have been done versus what was actually done. And again, it's just
whenever you say everybody has it, you can't just blanket statement something. That you're exactly right, because that is another thing you got to take into consideration.
Yep. Nope. I agree with that 100%. And again, I go back to like I told Michael, think of it as a long-term relationship, in a sense, and that can you skip an oil change here or there, or do do a little more extended distance and stuff. You can do that at 100, especially on something new. But what do you want out of that relationship in the end, and how do you want them to treat you, right?
Yeah.
And it's
that's good. I like it.
It is. I mean, that's
good.
It's 100%, reality, for sure when it comes to that. And then you had made mention or talked about just extended warranties, and that's another thing out there that there's a lot of them floating out there. There's a lot of good extended warranties. There's a lot of not so good extended warranty companies.
If you guys
out
have
there,
any questions on extended warranties, you give me a call. I will be more than happy to talk for hours on extended warranties. I've been doing it for long enough, and I know my stuff.
But when it comes time to pay a repair bill, like, how was it maintained? How was it treated? So
And
That's
I mean,
huge.
and they send out inspectors all the time. I have one that came in yesterday that gave me a phone call whenever they're out there. Like, how often was this transmission service? It's like, okay, well, luckily we service it every 30,000 miles. Perfect. Give me the invoices for that. All right, I got them. I sent them. Like, they want to check their stuff, but the same thing is like I get it a lot, not as much as I used to, but like people that change their oil that have change their own oil that have extended service plans, and you have to be able to prove that you change the oil, and an oil filter and oil receipt is not going to do it. It has to go to a shop, and you can get into a lot of trouble because that's happened before, to where they didn't end up paying a claim because you couldn't prove that you actually changed the oil.
That it was on that specific vehicle.
Yeah, right.
So kind of moving on from that topic on to my next thing, and we brought it up a little bit, in regards to safety related items, and honestly, just how intelligent these vehicles are becoming.
Crazy.
And I've run into multiple situations or scenario this week of dealing with things that consumers were trying to do to a vehicle, a new vehicle or a newer vehicle, that just basically the vehicle was too smart to allow them to do it. And where I was headed with that, so I've got one consumer had a pickup, and we're trying to wire in something into the trailer connector, or the trailer pigtail, that wasn't a trailer. What on every other pickup you would be able to do, but because now there's there's the intelligence in the trailer control module and stuff like that, and allowing this vehicle to decipher, what's a trailer, what's not a trailer. They just weren't able to do it. But the reason for that, it wasn't to keep the consumer from being able to perform what he wanted to perform. It was to make the vehicle safer when trailering something. There's a anti-trailer sway, there's we can
trailer
do
brakes.
Trailer brakes, the tire pressure, trailer monitorings, there's all sorts of camera systems. There's anti-trailer roll, like we've got the ability to back up a trailer from a switch on the vehicle of this thing. And so I think of all the different safety features that are now on a vehicle that weren't there before, that has made it so much so much more pleasurable for use of consumer and the safety of the consumer. But it comes at a cost, right? Like, as things evolve and get better, like, here we go. And then I had another instance where a consumer wanted to so we looked at buying a Explorer, and then wanted the captain's chair in the second row as opposed to the bench chairs in the second row. And so trying to convert that back and forth. Well, okay. And the comment was, well, we just need to get the seats and put the seats in, and that's all that's different. Well, then you go and look at it. Okay, well, the factory one has 3 seat belts versus just 2 seat belts. So there's a potential airbag or ABS system issue with that. Secondly, whenever the captain's chairs are in there, it has an actual inflatable seatbelt restraint.
Yep.
So the seatbelts are different one way or the other. So the buckles are different one way or the other.
Yeah.
And then the A-pillar trim or the C-pillar trim moldings that the buckles are mounted to are different. And so, but the initial comment was like, well, let's just put the captain's chairs in it. And it's like, okay, hold on, time out. And now we're altering that from its original design to make this deal, to make it happen. And so it's as a consumer trying to perform some of these things, like when you alter something like that or change something like that, you have no idea what you're altering or changing, especially when it comes to safety related stuff long term.
Yes.
It may work it may look good, it may function, it may do everything that it needs to do, But if you're in a collision, is it now going to do everything that it needs to do that's important at that point? Because at that point, when you have to depend on those safety features, the safety features are there to avoid death.
Yes.
You know, and if you've altered that, and that's that's when you find out whether that works or doesn't work.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
and I've always been a person that, like, if I'm buying a vehicle, I'm not changing a thing.
Well,
I'm just weird. I'm different. I know that, but I am leaving it alone. I am just, this is what I bought. This is what I'm going to drive, and I'm not putting oversized tires or anything like that on this vehicle. So that's a minor one that a lot of people do.
Yeah, and I think there's a place for that, and I think there's a lot of consumers that potentially do that. And I also don't think that there's anything wrong with customizing your vehicle.
Sure,
but there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it.
But
and
I use the oversized tires as an example all of the time, because that anymore, at least on the current modules that we have, we cannot program the vehicle to know that it has oversized tires right now on these new vehicles. You have to have a tuner in order to do that. So your speedometer is going to be off. You can get a speeding ticket or whatever the case may be, but the vehicle was, and it's a technician that works here at the dealership, but he explained it so well to me that it's like, there are engineers from all over the world that design this vehicle to have this particular tire, this particular size, this particular blah, 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 blah. And it is the most efficient that it can get. And the things that you change from that point on makes it less efficient.
Well,
and I'm like, that's a good way of putting it, dude.
Or at that point, anything beyond that, you're now an experiment.
Yeah. Right.
And you know, with the lane sensing systems and the adaptive cruise control and all the collision avoidance and collision mitigation and everything that goes into these vehicles. And it doesn't matter whether it's a Ford, Chevy, Dodge, it doesn't matter what the nameplate is. Everybody has that. And again, that's going back to, okay, now if you're looking at accessorizing it, you really need, Ford accessories,
yes,
Chevy accessories, yes, Dodge accessories. Yes. Like there's manufacturers that they work with to be able to customize vehicles to get you the desired outcome that you want of accessorizing your vehicle, which again, I'm all for customizing vehicles. Sure. It's just a matter of making sure that it's done the right way, for sure.
Right. If that's something the customer wants, by all means, I'm all for it. It's just not something I do, because I don't want to mess with anything.
Well, and I will tell you, more often than not, we'll get involved in repairs and situations with vehicles, and a lot of times it comes down to, okay, a battery draw. Well, it's got an aftermarket radio in it.
That's the first thing we look into.
It's as far as reliability and consistency, you're not going to get better than what you have from OEM. And again, that's what plays into a part when you're replacing components is that, okay, go back to OEM instead of aftermarket, just because it's designed for that vehicle. It's, it's far as reliability and consistency, it's proven, right? It's proven to work.
Early 2000s, when I first started doing this, I started getting into the automotive industry. That was kind of a really popular time for people to put CD players, decks in their
what?
A CD player.
What's that?
Yeah, I know, right?
Huh? How does that work?
They were putting CD players in 1990s vehicles. And anytime I would come in, or I would have a customer call me and say, I think I got a parasitic drain, a battery drain on my vehicle. I would go, does it have an aftermarket CD player in there? And they would go every time, yep. Cool. That's probably what it is.
Let's see what you got there.
Let's see what you got there.
Yeah, understand that completely. Well, hey, I really appreciate all the loyal listeners and everybody hanging out with us for this episode. And
I don't even have work today. I'm off.
Yeah, you're off. You came in extra, so I really appreciate you coming in and hanging out with me.
I don't have to go back down there. I
get to go
hold on. You're gonna make me? Really?
Don't say
no.
Yeah, don't say that yet. So, but yeah, I appreciate everybody listening. Thanks for the calls for today, and I think I'm gonna go get caught up on a couple of different things.
All
but
right.
Scotty, appreciate you hanging out with me, and everybody have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you next Saturday.
Thanks, guys.